WTOL 11 Plus, heartbreak in West Toledo. A school community comes together to remember an 11-year-old, how they're honoring his life after a tragic accident. And the Toledo Library wants your ideas, how community feedback is shaping the future of local branches, and what's next for the Holland location. Plus, the government shutdown drags on with no deal in sight, why Congress is at a standstill and what it means as the shutdown nears 2 weeks. Welcome into WTOL 11 News on Plus. I'm Megan Hartnett in for Michael Sandlin tonight. Thanks for joining us. We're going to get to those stories in just a few minutes, but first we want to get a check of your weather with Chief Meteorologist Chris Vickers. Chris, it is dry, sunny. Is it going to be staying around for us?
You said, Megan, perfect weather today, right?
It was truly perfect.
Very gorgeous weather across the area, and yes, it is going to be sticking around several more days of this and actually turning a little bit warmer as we go through the rest of the weekend and into early next week. Look at the rays of sunshine we're capturing with that sundown now just before 7 o'clock tonight. 63 degrees, northeast winds 10 miles per hour, and very dry air that's been in place. And we're still looking at rain-free weather the rest of the weekend. Lower 60s is where we've settled back into at this point this evening. And the big weather impact, at least the next several days looking forward, is going to be the continued dry weather, sunny days, and that is going to continue to put much of the area deeper into drought territory. Tonight, mostly clear. It's going to be cool and dry. We are going to slip back into the mid to upper 40s. A little milder closer to the lake shores. You may stay toward 50 or warmer. On Sunday, we'll start the day with partly to mostly sunny skies. Highs are going to edge through the upper 60s. We'll head towards 70 degrees, and we're going to have dry conditions straight through the evening. We'll have more of my 10-day forecasts that'll be coming your way in just a little bit. Megan, back over to you.
Thanks, Chris. A local school community is grieving an 11-year-old boy who was hit by a car in West Toledo while riding his bike. The school he attended held a vigil to honor his life. Staff and students at Explorers Academy of Science and Technology came together to remember 11-year-old Devontae Bailey. They released balloons in Bailey's memory just days after his death. Police say he was riding his bike Monday night when he went onto Jackman from Marlowe Road and was hit by a 76-year-old driver. According to a press release, the driver told police they had a green light and Bailey was not in a marked crosswalk. Bailey was then taken to the hospital in critical condition where he later died.
Trying to get children to understand loss, that their friend is not going to come back, has been traumatic for me as a teacher.
That was one of Bailey's teachers who says although they didn't have him for long, he was a joy to be around. The school says it has brought in counselors to support students during this time. Former Port Clinton Fire Chief Kent Johnson filed a motion for early release from jail. He pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor assault charge in a sexual harassment case spanning years. Court documents filed in Ottawa County Common Pleas Court show Johnson filed for early release on October 3rd. In the motion, Johnson's attorney argues he has a myriad of health issues and since his incarceration has not had any disciplinary issues. The motion states the victim suffered no physical harm. Johnson's full 180-day sentence is expected to end in mid-January. A Perrysburg man is facing a felony swatting charge. 21-year-old Alexander Carmen was indicted last week by a Wood County grand jury. Court documents allege Carmen used a telecommunications device on September 9th to provide false or misleading information to law enforcement. He's being held on a $50,000 bond and is scheduled to be back in court at the end of the month. The Toledo Lucas County Public Library is looking for community feedback for future expansion projects. The library hosted their second community listening session today at the Holland branch to get ideas and input from residents about the new branch coming to the neighborhood. The renovations are part of a $153 million bond to fund capital improvements across the Toledo library system, which was approved by Lucas County voters last November. The first phase of construction includes work on the Holland and Heather Downs branches, a new Washington branch campus, and a new White House library.
We've also just been hearing time and time again that individuals here in Holland are just looking for more space, more meeting rooms, a better children's library, which we completely understand. So a lot of really great feedback that we've been hearing from individuals.
Organizers say construction on the Holland branch is set to begin in the middle of next year. A third session will be held October 30th at the Holland branch. Over 100 kids got the chance to try out adulting today at the University of Toledo's campus. The Women of Toledo hosted their first Lead Her Way to Youth Summit to teach kids and teens what it's like to be a 30-year-old adult. Kids were assigned a job and salary and were tasked with creating a budget to buy groceries, a house, a car, insurance, and more. The kids then went through simulations and breakout rooms to learn how to make ends meet.
I hope they learn that when they look at the different jobs and how much it takes to go to school, that they realize, okay, if I want to make this, if I want to live like this is how much money I will need to make. And based on that, what jobs would interest me, which direction would I want to go?
The summit today was held to also honor International Day of the Girl. Organizers with Women of Toledo say they hope to make the summit an annual event. The government shutdown will stretch at least another week as the Senate ended its session without a deal. Both Democratic and Republican funding bills stalled this week, pushing the impasse into this Tuesday when the Senate returns. The House hasn't met since mid-September after passing its own GOP plan. Speaker Mike Johnson says there's no scenario the chamber comes back before the Senate acts, but some in his own party say that's part of the problem.
Donald Trump's strategy during this government shutdown that he has created has been to play golf and issue deepfake videos. Mike Johnson's strategy is to keep House Republicans on vacation.
Chuck Schumer is very clearly, and the Democrats who are his accomplices here in the Senate, are very clearly causing pain for the American people for their own political survival. And I shared a couple of headlines. I'll share them here again.
By Tuesday, the government shutdown will have lasted 13 days. Officials are investigating a blast that leveled an explosives plant in rural Tennessee. At a press conference today, officials say there are no survivors. The blast happened yesterday at Accurate Energetic Systems, about 60 miles southwest of Nashville. Right now, officials do not know what caused the explosion, but are investigating. The company processes explosives and ammunitions for the military. The company said in a post on social media on Friday that their thoughts and prayers are with the families and community impacted. President Donald Trump is headed to the Middle East on Sunday to mark the ceasefire his team helped to broker between Israel and Hamas. Tareen Small is in Washington with the details.
A ceasefire between Israel and Hamas is in effect, bringing to an end a 2-year-long conflict that began with the October 7th attacks in 2023. Now the clock is ticking for Hamas to release the Israeli hostages being held in Gaza, both alive and dead. On Saturday, the U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, toured the Gaza Strip. Thousands of displaced residents are flooding back to what's left of their homes, many of which have been reduced to rubble. Members of the Israeli military were seen completing a withdrawal to agree upon deployment lines. Meanwhile, Israelis gathered at Hostages Square in Tel Aviv on Saturday to show solidarity with those hostages still being held in Gaza.
Because I really want them to see the families rest, hugging their people or just putting them to burial.
Hostages' family members anxiously await their loved ones' return.
It's a guarded optimism because it's the kind of optimism that's born out of heartbreaking experience. We hold our hope lightly because we've had our hopes dashed before.
In Washington, President Trump is optimistic about the peace deal he and his team brokered.
They're all tired of fighting, and this really gives the whole Middle East. This is beyond Gaza. Gaza is very important, but this is beyond Gaza. This is peace in the Middle East.
President Trump will travel to the Middle East Sunday, where he's expected to mark the ceasefire and deliver an address to Israel's parliament. Torian Small, CBS News, Washington.
This just into our newsroom. Oscar-winning actress Diane Keaton died today. She is best known for her roles in Annie Hall, Something's Got to Give, Father of the Bride, and many, many more. A family spokesperson confirmed the news to People, saying there were no additional details available and asking for privacy. Keaton is survived by her 2 children and extended family. She was 79 years old. Former President Joe Biden has started radiation therapy as part of his treatment for prostate cancer. A spokesperson for Biden did not give a timeline for the treatment. A source says he began the treatment a few weeks ago. Earlier this spring, he announced he was diagnosed with an aggressive form of prostate cancer that had spread to his bones. Shortly after being diagnosed, former President Biden said he started a pill regimen to treat the cancer. Part of State Route 795 in Perrysburg Township is back open today after a garbage truck hit overhead internet cables. It shut down both lanes of 795 for several hours. No injuries were reported, but ODOT and Spectrum crews spent hours clearing the lines.
Hi there, I'm Jeff Smith. Coming up this week on Leading Edge, she is in it to win it. Retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Aliyah Nadeem is one of 3 remaining GOP candidates running for Ohio's 9th Congressional District. We talked about the government shutdown, Ohio's redistricting, and why, with so much animosity toward Congress in Washington, why she would want to be associated with it.
There's crazies on both sides. Let's just acknowledge that. Most people, if you start from their love of America and work back, you can change the world. One thing that I was traveling with a senator, and he always told me, conversations change the world and direction. When we may be on the opposite sides, but if we break bread together, it's going to be different. You can always negotiate.
Also, Catholic Charities Diocese of Toledo responsible for 13 ministries covering food, shelter, clothing, spiritual health. And this time of the year, donations are down.
It's the transition between summer and then getting back to school and getting closer to winter. We see, as it gets colder, more people coming to us. And we also see that there's less opportunities for families to come together, and then sometimes people become isolated.
Leading Edge drops Sundays, and check out and follow the Leading Edge podcast.
Well, looking forward to your Sunday. We've got dry and mild weather that's going to be serving up another beautiful day with highs right around 70 degrees. And add to that, bright sunshine will last much of the day with a few fair weather clouds. The rest of our Saturday evening, it's going to start to fall quickly if you're going to be out there doing any camping or a bonfire tonight. Back into the low 60s now, 50s in the next couple of hours, and eventually upper 40s by the time we step out the door on Sunday morning. Radar and satellite picture, we don't have much activity across the area right now, barely a blip on radar. But there's a coastal storm system, and heads up to this one, not directly going to impact our weather, but look at this across the Carolinas, eastern Carolinas. They're getting pummeled with some heavy rain and wind. Another area that's experiencing some heavy rainfall, and again, not our area. It's going to be toward the Four Corners region, where some flooding and flash flooding is going to be possible in this area. Remnants of some tropical moisture that's making its way into the desert southwest. For us here in the Toledo Metro, at least here officially in Toledo, there's been some outlying communities that have seen a decent amount of rain at times. We're just over 2 inches of rainfall since the 1st of August. Driest stretch that we've had from August 1st to October 15th since 1946, and our deficit now approaching nearly 5 inches below average. That drought monitor that was just released on Thursday, right in the heart of the Maumee River watershed, we've got severe to extreme drought, and it does appear with dry weather that is continuing to get worse as we go through the next several days. Rain chances essentially going to stay flatlined Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Toward next weekend will be the next chance we do see some rain. Sunshine will continue through the end of the weekend. More sunshine into Monday. Highs will return back into the low to even mid 70s. And then a cold front just to switch in the wind direction on Wednesday will drop us back into the 60s. Hour by hour forecast, rest of your Saturday night to Sunday morning. Stepping out for some of those Sunday surfaces, mid to upper 40s. Highs into the afternoon on Sunday. We're going to be right around 70 degrees with dry conditions through Sunday afternoon. Could turn even a little bit warmer. We're expecting that on Monday back at the mid 70s, at least low to mid 70s as we get toward Monday. Tonight, mostly clear. It's going to be cool and dry, down to 48 degrees for the overnight low. Highs on Sunday, going to be right back towards 70 degrees. Partly to mostly sunny skies through the afternoon. And the 10-day forecast has 70 on Sunday, low to mid